Suzhou, a thriving metropolis, waits heartbroken for an airport it desperately needs. Hegang, a city on life support, is building one amidst a firestorm of controversy. When the city with the cheapest real estate in the nation suddenly bets 1.5 billion yuan on a project that defies all economic sense, is it a mad last-ditch gamble? Or does it hide a secret code to reverse its destiny? Stay with me. The story we're diving into today is a textbook case of real-world surrealism. The city ranked dead last for property prices in China wants to build an airport. My first reaction when I heard this was, which internet troll cooked up this fake news? Anyone who has looked into Hegang knows the deal. The name might sound poetic, like Crane Hill, but in reality it's the poster child for urban decay, a place where real estate prices have fallen below 1,000 yuan, that's about $140 per square meter, cheaper than a single toilet in Beijing or Shanghai. So when this airport news broke, it was met with a chorus of ridicule, a blizzard of question marks, and a whole lot of people grabbing their popcorn to watch the show. Today, we're going to unravel this entire saga. To understand this, we have to start with why Hegang became the undisputed champion of cheap housing. It's located in the far northeast, in Heilongjiang province, basically China's Siberia. It was never a major city. It once thrived on coal mining, but when the coal ran out, the city's economy deflated like a punctured balloon. In 2023, the average home price in Hegang cratered to a shocking 800 yuan per square meter. Let's put that in perspective. In Beijing or Shanghai, you're looking at 50 to 60,000. Hegang's prices aren't even a rounding error on their rounding error. To buy a 1,000 square foot apartment in Beijing, you'd need to shell out close to $1 million. In Hegang, about 11,000. It is the bargain basement of bargain basements. The local job market is a wasteland. The youth have fled faster than rabbits. The city's population has been cut in half from a peak of 1 million down to 600,000 or 700,000. So, when you hear a place like this wants to build an airport, how can you not be dumbfounded? Imagine if the only business on your street is a tiny, struggling corner store, and suddenly someone announces plans to build a 5-star luxury hotel next to it. It's a complete mismatch of priorities. It's what we call in China randomly upgrading your tech tree. But this is no joke. The plans are real. A multi-billion yuan investment, a site chosen in the suburbs, a target completion date of 2026. The official line is to enhance regional transportation. I almost wanted to slam my fist on the table. This is a city where the average monthly salary is barely $300. They're planning to use their grocery money to buy a private jet. The government documents, of course, are full of glossy buzzwords like revitalizing cultural tourism, attracting investment. But when I dug deeper, the underlying logic reeked of desperation. It's what we call in China a dog jumping over a wall, a desperate act when cornered. Tourism? Let's be real. The entire city received fewer than 1 million visitors last year. The Yellow Mountain gets that many in a few days. Building an airport sounds grand, but it's a gamble. A gamble that looks eerily similar to other failed projects in China's smaller cities. And it's a classic vanity project, a decision made from the gut, not the brain. The backlash was immediate and fierce. Social media exploded. Hegang's airport became a trending topic, a punchline for 1,000 memes. Some called it a bold poverty alleviation scheme. Others blasted it as a colossal waste of taxpayer money. So why? Why this kamikaze mission? In a word, performance. Or rather, the anxiety over it. As China's economy has slowed, smaller cities are locked in a brutal competition. A place like Hegang, on the decline, desperately needs a shiny new project to create the illusion of progress. It's not just Hegang. Many of the cities at the bottom of the property market rankings are all scrambling for massive infrastructure projects as a lifeline. From a return on investment perspective, this project is a black hole. It would likely take decades to recoup the initial 2 billion yuan cost, all while the city's population continues to shrink. China's Civil Aviation Authority has data showing that the country's small airports are, on average, less than 50% full. Over 70% of them lose money. Even if Hegang's airport gets built, it would likely operate just a few flights a day. The tickets won't sell. The government will have to subsidize it. The final bill will be paid by taxpayers, and the city's debt will spiral. The online jokes about locals using the runway to dry their pickled cabbage? It's not that much of an exaggeration. The core problem here is that Hegang is caught in two black holes, a population black hole and a capital black hole. The young are gone. The economy is stagnant. An airport might give the illusion of being a cosmopolitan city, but at best, it's a consolation prize. At worst, it's a path to bankruptcy, a fate that has befallen other small cities that made similar bets. This isn't just about one city. It's a symptom of a larger disease in China's regional development, divergence and policy involution. Big cities are stuck in a rat race for jobs and apartments. Small cities are stuck in a rat race for infrastructure and bubbles. While the country's overall urbanization rate is climbing, places like Hegang are de-urbanizing. If this trend of building airports and ghost towns continues, the result will be a nationwide explosion of wasted resources and debt crises. Now, I'm not against development. I am against irrational spending. If you have $1.5 billion yuan to invest, why not put it where it actually matters? Let's talk about what they could do. Hegang sits on 60% of China's graphite reserves. This is a critical material for new energy, but high-purity graphite is fragile. The bumpy transportation routes cause micro-damage, costing the city over 30 million yuan in lost orders annually. What if they invested 500 million, a fraction of the airport cost, to build a dedicated, smooth-surfaced road or rail line to the nearest major transport hub? The rest of the money could go into R&D for graphene, moving up the value chain instead of just shipping out cheap raw materials. Or how about basic living standards? Hegang is brutally cold in the winter, and many old residential buildings have failing heating systems. The city's low prices have attracted a new wave of digital nomads, but they often leave because the infrastructure is so poor. What if they spent 600 million yuan to upgrade the heating grid and insulate buildings, to make the city livable? What if they invested 300 million in a modern logistics hub to support the city's burgeoning e-commerce scene, cutting crippling shipping costs by 40%? For Hegang, plugging the existing holes is far more urgent than building a futuristic hub. For a city that can hold on to its people and its industries, these are the things that build a real foundation for a comeback. A city that can hold on to its people and its industries is a city that has a fighting chance. In the end, building an airport is a beautiful dream, but you have to be careful not to wake up and find that the only thing growing on the runway is weeds. As one poet lamented, 1,000 yuan shack, a home for the meek, yet they dream of iron birds, a future they seek, a global facade for a city so weak, a blueprint that hangs from a heavenly peak. 1.5 billion, an abacus of dread. Will it build a new future or a ghost town instead? Who gambles on runways where no one will tread? The weeds will just laugh where the airplanes have fled. Don't think one last gamble can alter your fate. This airport might just be a ghost city's gate. That's all for this episode. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.